Everything is proceeding as I have foreseen.
We have a few minutes to kill before Eric can get online. I thought we could talk about the Last Jedi trailer that dropped last night if you want to throw some thoughts down on that.
I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to watch it right now for the first time. I'm just kidding. I've actually only watched it 3 times, believe it or not. I watched it twice last night and then once today.
So what'd you think after sleeping on it? What's your reaction to it?
I think it's. I think it looks really good. It looks not like the direction that people feared it would go after The Force Awakens. You know,
right.
It definitely doesn't look that way. It looks to me like it's really playing with the idea of who is the hero and who's the villain. Because to me, it almost makes it seem like Kylo Ren and Rey are both switching sides at the same time, kind of. Because he's doubting everything and she is just coming into everything and doesn't know what to do. You know, she's, going to follow Luke, but she doesn't know if he's right.
Yeah, she's like powerful, but she's like naive.
And, exactly.
So, you know, I'm sure there's going to be some...
Kylo's been there and done pretty much both sides and done some pretty dark shit. I mean, I think he killed a bunch of Jedi before The Force Awakens, and obviously he killed his father, and the trailer makes it look like he's primed to kill his mother.
Right.
Although I doubt that happens, but still, that could be a turning point for him. And the trailer also makes it seem like Snoke, it makes it seem like that he's talking about Kylo being powerful in the beginning, but I feel like he's actually talking about Rey, or to Rey, about how powerful she is.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And so, and so I feel like he's, you know, obviously he doesn't have a father figure anymore, and so Snoke's it. And so if Snoke is kind of pushing him aside, then that could challenge him and make him, you know, want to reevaluate everything he's done. So
have you heard that?
It looks fascinating.
Oh yeah, it's super intriguing, man. I was like, I was obviously excited to see it, and I had low expectations because I've been really disappointed by Disney's 2 other films so far. So I was just kind of like, well, just see what it is, keep an open mind, and the intrigue in it really sparked my, my hopes that this would be something really interesting, something different. So I really kind of disrespect Force Awakens because I feel like it's very vanilla, very safe. I really was expecting Han Solo to die in it and everything, so that wasn't really shocking revelation for me in the movie or anything like that. And the more I've seen The Force Awakens, the more disappointed I've been with it. It's fine, I accept it, but I just felt like, man, they really could have taken it someplace else, and I would have been more entertained, and I would have liked to have seen, Luke, Han, and Leia on the screen together like one last time. They didn't give that to me, so I kind of resent them for that. But this looks like
it's okay. I want that too.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like that really would be fan service. Like, people complain that's a fan service film, but if you did that, I mean, that's really like, getting the band back together and here you go. This is what you've always wanted. Who cares what the implications are as far as story goes? And so, really, I don't know.
You make a good point.
Because I want that too.
Maybe
I want them all in the Millennium Falcon flying around.
Yeah. I'm really surprised that they maybe if you look at it that way, they did take a risk by not putting them together. But I don't know. It's just I have issues with the movie and stuff. I don't hate it or anything like that. It's no Attack of the Clones, but anyway. So when I saw this trailer, I was just I got the vibe. I was like, this feels like something interesting, like something I can really sink my teeth into. Have you heard that? Me and my brother were talking last night about Kylo Ren and about this theory about how he's like undercover or something, and he like had to kill his father to win Snoke's trust over, and somehow he's like working with Luke to like take down Snoke or something. And I was like, I don't know about that when I've heard that theory rolling around, but it doesn't really seem.
I have heard that.
It's a little convoluted, it's a little.
There's
far-fetched.
no way that Luke Skywalker was sanctioned for the murder of Han Solo just to, to win some future battle. I can't see that at all.
No, I agree with that 100%. But it seems to be one of the theories that's gained traction for some reason. But
I do like a dynamic villain, and that theory makes him extremely dynamic. He's doing evil stuff, but ultimately it leads to good, and that's a lot of the things I see in this new trailer. Mm-hmm. So,
there was a lot of
people with that are have different. It's not just black and white, and I feel like that is where this is going, especially with the idea of the gray. Jedi, essentially, light and dark and gray, the true balance in between.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting concept that they're gonna explore, and I'm sure there'll be a cliffhanger at the end. It might be like, hey, is Rey gonna, turn to the dark side, or are these two gonna abscond together and become a force of their own or something, or I'm super curious to see if Rey will turn to the dark side. That's what I'm hoping will happen. There'll be some sort of confrontation, and then maybe in the third movie there'll be a redemption story there. Maybe Kylo Ren ends up eating it at some point, and then it'll just be Rey, and Rey turns to the dark side and becomes Snoke's new apprentice and has to be redeemed by somebody in the third movie or something. But
that'd be interesting as hell. I tell you what, speaking of Snoke, seeing him live in the flesh, he looked amazing. I mean, the hologram just did not do him justice whatsoever.
Dude. Yeah, really brought his character out. It really made him feel more tangible versus like that hologram was, and making him a giant was really kind of ridiculous, But I agree. I mean, I don't know about the gold robes or anything, but I have to see it in action to really formulate an opinion. But I agree, it did help his character a lot,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, gold robes. He's a rich prick, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what his job is. He has like a normal job of some kind, right? I mean, because people know who he is. He's not like Darth Sidious hiding in shadows.
Right. Well,
people know who he is.
They're definitely going to have to flesh him out and clarify what his character role is in this movie, or there's going to be a lot of pissed off people because people have been speculating for 2 years, like, who the fuck this bald guy is, like, he's scarred up really bad on one side of his face. I mean, there's some intriguing elements to him, but because he gave us so little story elements about his character, it's just, I think really been torturing people to find out more about him and, like, why he's this sort of puppet master, where he comes from. There was a theory going around for a while that he was Plagueis and stuff, and I mean, I guess he still could be, but I have a tendency to think that he's just a guy named Snoke who was sort of hidden. He's imbued with these powers of the Force, and he's kind of been in hiding or lying in wait in the background, and he's, there was a vacuum of power, and he stepped forward to start manipulating things. That's I think just kind of coming out of nowhere personally, but hopefully they'll make it an interesting character.
Yeah, that's to me that's 100% what it is. The want or the need to make him tie into something that already exists. I get the need to do that, but at the same time, that kind of makes everything smaller. It's like let's as a big universe, just introduce new people. And also, as far as like the tease of him in the Force Awakens, is to me essentially the same thing they did with the Emperor in Empire. I mean, he was in one scene, I think, and he was also larger than life, and you didn't know who he was. You just knew he was the Emperor. And really, by the end of the trilogy, that's all you knew him as. He didn't even have a name. he was the Emperor. That was it, and that's just who he was. And
yeah,
so
they never.
if that's all he ends up being, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I mean that's cool. I mean, as long as I get the sense that he's like a force to be reckoned with, you know what I mean? Because I never. I mean, you knew Palpatine was this like looming, dangerous sort of all powerful manipulator. When you saw Empire, maybe you saw him just first. Was it Empire? He popped up in Empire, and then he really had a role in and Return of the Jedi. You know,
in the flesh until the end of Return of the Jedi, or in the middle. But yeah, and you just knew that he was that Darth Vader, the most baddest brother in the galaxy,
right,
bowed down to him. That's all that you knew about him.
Yeah, and that was enough to really give that character a lot of weight. So yeah, I hope they do something like that. I mean, I don't really think that Kylo Ren carries that sort of do that sort of thing with Snoke, you know. So we're gonna need something else. Just see him more as a menace or ruthless somehow. But
well, it looks like he's torturing Rey. I mean, he's levitating her or something in that one scene of the new trailer. So yeah, something's going on there. Don't know what, but yeah, I'm very intrigued.
What do you think about this Journal of the Wills thing? Like, it's a pretty interesting concept.
Is that in the trailer? I mean, or are you just talking about in general?
It's in the trailer. It's I mean, that's what everybody's assuming that they are, these books. They've been calling
because they were in the teaser. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I mean, you know, ancient artifacts of Jedi monks is what I'm assuming that is. I don't know much about it, but is definitely intriguing because of the knowledge I would assume that you can obtain from them. So yeah, I mean, my favorite shit in Star Wars is just listening to Yoda talk. So if that's in a book, you know, if that's in a book, information that's you know, can elevate you, then yeah, I'm all about it. I mean, from Rogue One, apparently there were people who weren't Jedi who just protected those things, and that's how much they meant to people who weren't even Jedi. So they must mean something. Yeah,
it's, you know, I just hope that they don't go into explaining things too much, because I really hated the whole metaflorian backstory they put in fandom. Yeah, some things are better, less sort of a mystery, because the mythos of like Star Wars is what makes it cool. So and fun, but it is kind of weird seeing actual books in a Star Wars movie. Like,
paper is something that has never been in Star Wars, and that's no shit. Everything is hologram,
exactly,
and or on a disc. We've seen discs and stuff in A New Hope and Rogue One. But there is no paper. There's no pencils. There's no pens.
Technically, there is confetti at the end of Phantom Menace.
Oh.
I think technically that counts as paper. Let's just say
yeah. Or maybe it's just dried colored leaves or something.
Yeah, right? It's all holographic confetti.
Yeah. But that's something that I never thought about, and somebody had to point it out to me. And I'm like, holy shit, do these people... Oh, and that's another interesting thing, is that since nothing is written down, kind of... I mean, obviously, in Attack of the Clones, he goes to this big library, and, you know, there's all kinds of information out there. But why is it that in The Force Awakens, people don't know the hero that Luke Skywalker was? And people are confused about who Han Solo was, you know, mainly Finn and Rey, but you got to assume there's a lot more people out there like that. And it's like, wouldn't that be common knowledge? I mean, these people brought down the fucking Empire.
See, dude, that's one of the things.
It's like knowing who Patton is from World War II. You know, you just know these people.
Absolutely, man. That annoyed the shit out of me, because it's like those characters had slipped into some kind of lore, and it was just like a rumor that people talked about. It was like the biggest event that happened in the fucking galaxy. You think it would have been well recorded and written down, or
and it was only 19 years later? Is that when it takes place or something?
Yeah, it was like 30 years after the fact. I mean, it's like we remember all, you know, a lot of what occurred in World War II pretty well at this point. That's been like what, 80 years ago. So yeah, that's a big plot hole in that movie, and that does annoy the shit out of me. And I don't know, man. I think it was just convenient script writing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's true. And I do like the idea of the thing that we loved when we were younger is now a myth for a different generation. Right. I kind of like that, though.
It's a metaphor. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you think about the Luke's? There's a couple of short scenes in the trailer that kind of show Luke kind of like afraid of Rey's powers and being apprehensive about training her and stuff. There's actually I think one shot in the trailer where she's like cracking the rock that she's meditating on, and there's like literally like an oh shit fucking look on his face, you know?
Yeah, that to me is oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, do you think that he's just afraid that he's gonna worsen the situation by training her, or you know, he's just intimidated by her power? Or
that's exactly what happened with Kylo. He saw this guy who was technically Skywalker with immense Force abilities, and so he wanted to train him as a Jedi, and then that blew up in his face hardcore. He ended up killing the whole Jedi, you know, gathering or whatever he created, and so he doesn't want to do that again. And then here's this other person who seemingly is more powerful than Kylo Ren. So he's like, fuck, what the fuck is going on in the world? Should I even be around this? You know, this is why I got away the first time. So yeah, I mean, his fear, I get that, definitely. I'd be afraid too, no matter how cute she is.
Yeah, right. I love that line. He says, "This isn't going to end the way you think it is." Like that. That was a really, really intriguing line. You know.
Yeah, but I don't know who he was saying that to. I mean, a lot of this, you know, there's no shot in this trailer, hardly, that has two people in the same shot.
Right.
And
exactly.
So there's a moment where it seems like Rey is saying, "Help me, Kylo," essentially, and he reaches out his hand. I don't even know if that's the same scene.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it may not be the same scene.
You know?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I think there's a lot of
it's confusing
misdirection in this trailer. They try to get the conversation going, get people speculating and excited, and I think that's really cool. I like that. I just hope that what we get isn't like a disappointment comparatively. But you know, I think there's going to be a lot of weaving back and forth across the lines in this one. So
yeah, I think that's going to be the whole theme of this entire movie, is that gray line, and is that the path? You know, I mean, other than the dark and the light, is the gray path the true path of enlightenment or whatever? I don't know. But yeah, I think that's going to be a huge theme.
Hopefully we'll get to see the shot where the Knights of Ren take out the Jedi Order temple, or kill the Jedi and stuff. Like,
I think so, because I mean, we get a shot of Luke. Yeah, we get a shot though. We get the shot of that temple burning of Luke and R2, and before that, I think we see Luke climb out of rubble, which seemingly is the same place. So I'm probably thinking that Kylo thinks Luke is dead and was left to die or something, but survived, and that he left immediately. Like, fuck this, I'm out of here. And he like put R2 into some kind of comatose state on purpose, and that's why he was catatonic for most of Force Awakens. So yeah, I do hope we see that, because I don't know if the Knights of Ren actually exist, and I'm interested in what it is, and to see more guys that are kind of Kylo Ren-ish. Yeah,
I mean, I think there is some sort of. I mean, she had the vision with them where they're all there standing in the rain, and I'm assuming that's like right before they take out all the Jedi and the temple, and that's the point where Kylo Ren has made his choice, and he'd been plotting to take out Luke in the Jedi Order and stuff. I really like to see, a little bit of, I don't know, flashbacks are such a weird thing in Star Wars, and I have mixed feelings about it, so I wouldn't want anything super long. I mean, this is a really long movie. It's like 2.5 hours, so we're going to be getting a lot of storytelling in this, but, I would like to see some of Luke's and Ben Solo, a little bit of their relationship, a little bit of how he gets seduced, a little bit of how he turns, and then obviously I want to get, I really want to see how, Ben takes out, or Kylo Ren takes out Luke's Jedi Order. I'd really like to see some shots of that, but I think because I really think that would really go a long way to giving me more investment in Kylo Ren's character, because I want to like him, and I do think he's an intriguing character. I know you like him a lot. I think he's got a lot of potential, but I just feel like I need to get more invested in, the things he's done, the kind of person he is. I mean, we've seen him throw a couple temper tantrums, and we know he's unpredictable, but I think seeing maybe a little bit of his backstory here or there, just with a few small scenes or something, would really go a long way.
It would have to be really small. You're right, because if you show too much, it's not what a Star Wars film is.
Exactly.
Okay, here's 20 minutes of a flashback, kind of thing. Or like a Quentin Tarantino movie. It's like, now here's this scene from 5 years ago. Yeah. Or something like that. Yeah. But it could be done. I mean,
they could get a lot done.
Like the Force visions and stuff.
Yeah. So he smashes his helmet against the wall, right? That's what I'm assuming happens. Because we saw some teaser stills of the smashed Kylo Ren helmet, and then in the trailer we see him I think he's looking at the helmet, and then he smashes it against the wall, and I guess in another temper tantrum of some sort, and I guess he's trying to move past that wannabe Vader persona he's got going on or something, or I thought it was a really interesting
I didn't think about
there,
it like that. I didn't know. I don't know.
Like he's dropping the facade, he's like kind of coming into his own. That's kind of how I
can see it as that. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and stepping out of the shadow, of what that helmet actually gave him, this ambiguity of who he actually is.
Yeah.
I took it as again, he could go to the light side. Because there's a line from him that's overlaid him doing that, of saying "kill your past" or something, and so it's also after I think it's after the shot of when he's targeting the ship that his mom's on. So if that's the moment that makes him turn, and then he lands somewhere, and then is debating about it internally, and then it's like, fuck this mask, fuck who I was, I can't do this. That's kind of what I was thinking, but I mean, it makes sense what you said too.
Yeah, maybe he decides towards the end of the movie to just let go of that longing to be a Vader, Sith, dark side user, and a way to express that is just fucking smashing the helmet or something. I think the whole thing with him blowing up Leia's ship and, obviously killing his own mother, I think that's a misdirection. I don't really buy it. It's a little too obvious of a tease for me to believe that's really something that's going to happen. And I think even Mark Hamill said that Leia makes it to the next movie. But take that, he can be a bit of a prankster when it comes to... he could be misleading with some of his tweets and stuff, so it could be misinformation as well. I don't know. I mean, I imagined... if this was the last Star Wars movie that she was going to be in and her last role on film, I think that they would have exploited the shit out of that leading up to this movie. They really would have played the Leia angle really, really hard. At least had done some press about it or something. And I think since they haven't done that at all, I think that she's going to have another role in part 9, and they're going to use that as a selling point for that movie down the line. So I think she makes it out of this movie. I think, there might be some sort of conflict there, but yeah, I think she's going to survive this one. I think it would be...
I mean, what kind of movie is going to, they wouldn't tease the murder of a main character in a trailer.
Oh, yeah.
And then it actually happens.
Yeah.
I just don't see that happening. So yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying too. And also, I think it's maybe in a little bad taste that she died in real life, and then they just kill her off in the movie right after. You know, like
yeah. When that targeting thing happened, it's like, oh yeah, she's dead for reals.
Yeah,
you know, it's like you can't help but think that.
I mean, she looks pretty good though. I mean, she looks great on the poster.
Yeah.
She looks pretty good in the movie. You know. But what else is in the trailer that we liked?
Let's talk about them porgs.
Oh God, let's not say we did. Those apparently those things. Everybody hates those things. Apparently, like the.
Not in my household.
Yeah. I just look at that thing and I think of some like really cheap Easter plushie toy for like a 3-year-old or something, which I guess is what their function is. Disney's gonna sell that stuff to the kids, but
it's like BB-8. I mean, BB-8 was cute as all fucking get out in the first movie. I mean, it's what he was. He was a cute little lapdog, you know, and that's kind of what these things are. It's like the new BB-8 for this movie.
I guess, you know? Yeah. I mean, they had to
something cute.
I mean, I really liked BB-8. That was one of the things about The Force Awakens that I really thought was cool. Is I thought that's a great idea for a droid. I really liked the way it was puppeted. I mean, some of the body language that they were able to put into that sphere in that movie was fucking awesome. Like, you know, I liked BB-8. I thought BB-8 was a good addition to the movie because it brought a certain type of energy to it, a spunkiness to the movie. I mean, BB-8 will never replace R2 in my eyes, obviously.
No.
But I am curious to see these new evil BB-8s they're gonna have, or evil BB-8 they have, with it has like a different shaped head, and it's like all gray or black or something, and that should be interesting. I guess maybe there'll be some sort of rivalry between the two or something. But
yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, these droids come off of a assembly line, essentially. You know, there's tons of C-3POs out there. I mean, they're called various things, but, you know, and tons of different types of R2s and stuff. So why wouldn't there be... I think the only reason that Poe Dameron says he's one of a kind is because of his coloring. That's what I took from The Force Awakens. He's like, because he had to describe him exactly to Finn, so when Finn saw him, he knew who it was. He's like, he's white and he's gold or whatever.
I think he's referring to his personality, because if you think about like R2 units, there's like tons of R2 units throughout the Star Wars movies, but there's only one R2, and we know it right away. Just, you know, I mean, he's more of a personality than some actual human being characters in Star Wars franchise. You know what I mean? I always just assumed that, you know, Poe meant that, you know, it's one of a kind. You'll know because he's this spunky, crazy little droid that'll get in your way or trip over. Or, you know, there's a good little sidekick or whatever. You know.
Yeah, that makes more sense than his coloring.
I really hope that the porg stuff is like at a minimum. And it's not like we have like a porg hanging out on Chewie's shoulder the whole fucking movie.
You might get that.
Yeah, because now Chewie doesn't have Han, so like who's going to keep Chewie company?
Yeah, you need something.
I think that
I like it. I like Chewie being more than. I mean, now he can't be Han's sidekick.
Right.
So what is he going to do? Now he's this warrior. You know, that's what a lot of the Wookiees are, warriors. Now he's this warrior who's ferocious, yet he has this cute little bird thing. You know, it's like black and white. You know, it's like a tough guy having a little cute dog. You know, or John Wick. There you go. John Wick having his puppy.
They'd really have to pull off some serious like physical comedy for that to work. I mean, because they can't use language, obviously, but I don't know.
It's going to be great. They can't even talk.
It could be, you know, it could be fun if they do it right. If it's overkill, it'll get annoying. It'll have a Jar Jar Binks effect, and everybody will hate it. You know, but
yeah. But I don't think they'll do that. I think they're looking at those prequels and saying, okay, what don't we want to do? You know, so I don't think that they'll. I think they'll treat it right. There'll be the proper balance.
Yeah, they are really paranoid about that kind of stuff. It would be interesting to see like Poe and Chewie team up, or like Finn and Chewie team up. Maybe Finn and Chewie, because they had a kind of a rocky start together. It doesn't seem like Chewie's a kind of... He's not a lone wolf. Man, he needs like someone to anchor him. Either that, or it's just like, get your shit and fucking go home. Like your life debt is paid. It seems like you would go back to your home planet or something. But
yeah, I don't know, but I don't want to see him go away. I love him.
No, wait, no, I fucking love Chewie. Are you kidding me? It's like the best friend that you always want to have when you're a kid,
Yeah, I need somebody taller than me around.
Yeah, right. Then there's a cool scene with Finn finally facing off with Phasma, and Phasma's actually doing something in this movie, and that shot looks fucking spectacular with the all the light playing off her helmet, her chrome helmet and stuff. So that could be...
Yeah, she has some weird sword thing.
It looks like a spear, actually.
Yeah.
Like a long chrome spear. It looks really sharp,
Yeah, that's an exciting moment that I think is going to pay off pretty well. And Finn is doing some kind of, like, first of all, how did he get deep enough inside to get to her? Like, I think he's doing some kind of infiltration thing, because he's also in a very strange, non-seemingly resistance outfit,
right?
So it seemed like New Order-ish outfit that he put on.
Well,
maybe?
I think it's an obvious step for him to go into a sort of spy role or something, and undercover role, because he understands the inner workings of the First Order now. So
he knows where they shit. He takes out their trash.
Exactly, right.
He's a sanitation engineer.
Yeah, but I mean, he's got insider information that's useful probably to the rebellion, and so he can sneak in there, and I'm sure he does something to help the resistance, and then he has this confrontation with Phasma, and it looks like is she gonna get wiped out, or is she gonna get away, or
I don't know. I feel like if one thing, I don't know about people dying, but I definitely feel like somebody needs to lose an appendage in this movie. Like, that's a tradition that Star Wars clings to very heavily, especially with the second film. So I kind of hope that happens to somebody.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I would like to see that too. Even though that's fan service, I could live with that. And
yeah, that is totally.
That's one of those fan service things where you have to do it. You have to have the limb chopping going on in there somewhere. Speaking of lightsaber damage, the scar on Kylo Ren's face, like, dude, if you fucking took a fucking lightsaber to the face, he's just got this perfect little seam of a scar down his... I mean, I guess he's got some sort of carbon fiber Band-Aid on there, but like...
Yeah, I don't like the look of that thing.
Yeah, it's a little distracting.
It's like a weird zipper. Yeah, it's very distracting. And yeah, you're right. It doesn't seem that intense of a scar. So I just thought maybe he just got whizzed, just barely. I don't know.
It doesn't really...
I don't know how lightsabers work.
I think they should have made it a little bit more disfiguring. That would have been more interesting. But it looks like somebody just dragged a fucking X-Acto blade down his face. It doesn't really... I mean, dude, a lightsaber in the face would really do some damage, and it would have been cool to see some, like, real disfigurement on one side of his face, which would have lent it to his character, like, had like a Loomis thing going on. Get some real burn action going on in there. Maybe he had some super expensive reconstructive surgery like Loomis did,
or Doc Brown,
so we see some really great space battle shit. What about those like crystallized foxes or whatever they are? Like, those were really interesting looking. Right?
I forgot all about that. And yeah, that looks really cool. I don't know what else to think about it other than, hey, cool creature.
Yeah, these are obviously...
Are you just there? Are you serve a purpose? I have no idea.
Yeah, it's just, I think it's something there to look cool. I think it's, these things probably just inhabit this like weird red planet. But
yeah, that's something that, I mean, I guess Force Awakens had that Rathtar scene, but the creature level, especially in this trailer, you don't see any like creatures,
right?
Which is something that Star Wars is huge on. So I guess this dog is kind of it. I'm sure there's more. There's got to be more. They're just not part of the main storyline, so they'll be there. Yeah, it just dawned on me I didn't really see any creatures. So
yeah, you didn't really see a whole lot. God damn, I hate those fucking Rathars, man. That whole segment of that movie, I just really couldn't. Even watching it for the first time in the movie theater, I was like, this is real bad. But
I thought the same thing. It was only necessary for the characters to bond over something. I get that. But yeah, it was a bad scene. I do like the Tell It to Conja Club, that whole conversation. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed that. But once they show up and it's like these rolling Raiders of the Lost Ark balls with arms that look really bad. I didn't like it. I only noticed it after watching it like 10 times that Han like throws a guy into one. Like I didn't even notice that happening because it's up against like a digital effect and it just kind of blurs together. Yeah, I didn't like that scene either.
Yeah, and then like, you know, they go to light speed out of the hangar and there's one's just like sucking on the windshield of the fucking Falcon and it's just it's like, so yeah, they should have put a little more thought into how that whole segment played out, but it is what it is. And I was really surprised that Hasbro released Rathtar figure this last round of toys they put out. I was like, does anybody like those things? I guess maybe kids do, but
yeah, kids will like that. Yeah, totally. And of course they're going to release everything.
Yeah,
anything they can. Come on.
I guess. I don't know. If you say so,
there's
Matt.
Probably
if you say so.
You know that hippo thing that was drinking out of the water that Finn drank? There's probably a play set of that thing.
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want to play with a giant butthole that drinks water?
Yeah. Giant butthole.
Let's see, what else is in this trailer? Just some shots of that red planet. We got the shot of Snoke. We talked about that a little bit. He's torturing Rey, obviously.
The new walkers.
Yeah, those were kind of cool. I mean, go ahead.
Yeah, they're bulkier. They're like twice the size of an AT-AT. I don't know if you could tell, but they're walking alongside the classic AT-ATs, and they're about twice as size. So they're giant fucking enormous, and they're like swole. They're like bulky, like they've been lifting.
Oh, they're super armored, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they got those like kind of demonic red eyes. I think it's a little overdone. It's like they're trying a little too hard, but it's cool. I mean, you know, it doesn't veer away too far from the original design, you know, to make me hate it or anything. I guess I call them gorilla walkers or something for short. But those, I mean, cool to see what they can do, you know, with their weaponry and stuff.
They shoot shit and they walk on stuff.
Yeah, I don't think any like tow cable is going to be able to take those fuckers out, dude.
Oh yeah, no, no, they're past that trick. They've seen it.
Yeah, right.
30 years ago, or whatever.
Right.
You ain't getting us, fucker.
I did see some. I think in the very first shot too, I saw some chicken walkers, which will be nice to see back as well.
Oh, really?
Use them at all.
Huh.
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
Go back and watch the very first shot where Kylo's looking out those windows, and it's like a hangar bay of where they're making all this armory, and you see a couple chicken walkers, especially one off to his right where it's just walking down and stuff. And it's kind of cool to see one of those again. Brought back some Jedi memories there.
One thing I loved that actually called back to Revenge of the Sith was you see a shot of Kylo, overhead shot of Kylo walking with like stormtroopers behind him, and they're in like a V formation. Yeah. And that is exactly like when Anakin is walking into, I remember where, but it's whenever Order 66 happens, and he's walking into probably the Jedi Temple to go kill all the kids, right, or something. It's very similar to that. I thought it was pretty cool.
I think we see a shot like that from Empire too, that V formation. I'm not sure, but I think there's a shot like that where Vader's walking along. Maybe I'm imagining it, but it seems like there was. But yeah, I think those were like snow troopers, I think, weren't they? The ones with the flamethrowers?
Yeah, I think so. They had the flappy mask as opposed to like the rounded one. Yeah. I don't know how else to describe it. It like hangs below their neck or chin. Yeah.
It's interesting. I wonder why. I mean, I wonder if that's a clue as to where they're at, because, why would you need that specific...
He's gonna burn this mother down.
Hell yeah. Who knows, man? Who knows? But man, all in all, you know, I mean, then the very last shot was like where, you know, she says she needs to figure out what her role is in all this, and Kylo, you know, it's implied that they're there together, and Kylo's like kind of offering his services to give her direction and help train her or whatever. And I don't know. I think that's definitely another misdirection moment. Like you said, they're in different places. Everybody seems to think that, you know.
But at the same time, I don't know. It'd be interesting. I mean, it would really flip it on its head to have these two all of a sudden conversing in a manner that was more emotional than, you know, than anything else. Like all they've had is fighting essentially.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. It could be totally cool to flip it.
Yeah.
Like that.
Well, we have 2.5 hours of movies, so much can change, you know. I mean, anything can happen. So
or not, or nothing could happen.
Maybe
that's what's great about speculation. We have no clue.
Oh man, it's gonna be a rough 2 months of reading fucking threads on Facebook and in groups and whatnot. You know, it's just gonna be shoved down my throat. I know it, but you know, hey, that's part of the fun.
It's inescapable. I like unless you unplug, which I don't know. You may want to do. I read something that Rian Johnson said. Don't even watch this trailer because it's potentially gives too much away. It's like,
I think he was.
I'm not going to listen to you.
I think he was using reverse psychology on us. You know?
Yeah.
Maybe he was like just, you know, trying to generate some buzz, intrigue about the trailer, you know. So I don't know. Who knows, man? It was a great trailer. I mean, I really kind of restored my hope that, you know, the franchise will be able to get on track and these next two movies would be fucking excellent. And so I but hopped online and fucking got my my opening night ticket, and I'll definitely be looking forward to sitting there and cramming some popcorn in my face and finally finding out what's happening. So,
well, I mean, I don't want to piss on your dinner, but you know, now that J.J. Abrams is doing the part 9. Yeah, and you don't seem too keen on The Force Awakens, which he did, so that could be detrimental for a guy like you.
I'm okay with what he's done with Star Trek because he kind of gave that franchise a much-needed shot in the arm, and he did it his way. And it was interesting to see that universe in a different light, but when you're fucking with my Star Wars, dude, you're gonna get in some hot water. So I think he's a good director. I like J.J. Abrams. I think he's very competent, but I just feel like some of the writing he did was lazy, and I feel like the directing, the way it looked was fine. It's just there was a lot of plot holes. It was mainly with the writing and the plot holes and stuff that pissed me off, and the copying of the New Hope and stuff like that. Well, maybe he'll take what Rian Johnson's gonna do, and you know, he'll run with it, and you know, maybe he'll take more risks or something, and
because he has to follow whatever he did. I mean, Rian Johnson wrote The Last Jedi.
Okay, so dude, I'll say this.
Setting up things.
I'll say this. Yeah. I'll say this about J.J. Abrams is that he had I mean, he must have been fucking terrified. You know, like bringing back the franchise after 30 years.
Yeah.
You know, that's a huge task. I'm sure that Disney and Kathleen Kennedy meddled in his doings. I'm sure he wanted them to, because it probably took a lot of heat off and pressure off of what he had to accomplish with that movie. And then, like I said, I don't hate the movie. I was just, you know, really, really disappointed when I saw it in the theater, because I felt like it was really vanilla, very safe, and formulaic, and, you know, that's not what I really wanted to see. But, you know, maybe in the third one he'll have more opportunities to do more interesting things with it. So, you know, he is a good director, so it could be cool. But we just have to wait and see. 2 more months, man. It's not that long, so.
Yeah, what's 2 months? You've already lived like 1,000,000 months.
It's weird how this year has just fucking flown by, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. Already this time of month, Halloween. Yeah.
I know. Speaking of Halloween, why don't we shut this down and get rolling on our next commentary? Cool? All right.